I noticed something different on the pod today. Coop has he's got aura. He's got literal aura. There's an actual glow around him.
Plus 1,000 aura from Coop today.
Konnichiwa.
Yeah.
That's probably why. The
Coop,
aura.
Coop,
the
where are you
beam.
calling in from, dude? Whoa.
Whoa, Chevy has aura.
Chevy's got aura. He's got
What is
artificial
that?
aura there, it looks like.
Yeah, it was artificial. Your aura's, you look like a different person, Coop. I don't know what you're doing
I
out
appreciate
there in
that.
Japan, but you
I
know,
am out here in the
look
beautiful
vibrant. That might be
Japanese
what it is.
mountains,
Ugh.
soaking up the
Yeah.
sun, soaking up the river, walking through the forest, asking questions about life, and just slowing down a little bit, guys, you know? Just taking some time to be present, enjoying this thing called life,
This is the same
remembering what
guy
it's
who
all
was at
about.
EDC 2 weeks ago, just absolutely raging.
Let me tell you, I was at Lightning in a Bottle this past weekend, absolutely raging too. So you know what?
It's
Grind
time to
don't
slow
stop.
down.
Time to slow down, connect with source, plant your
But
feet.
is that what you need to do? Like go hard and then slow down and then you glow? Is that how it works?
I mean,
Do you
you
have to
tell me.
glow
You
in
guys are
Japan?
telling me I'm glowing, so apparently it's working. Apparently
I don't
it's
know.
working.
Whatever Coop's on,
You
I
know-
need to get on.
Yeah, I need
could
to
use
get
a little
on.
glow in my life, you know?
Come
You
on
know what
out.
it is?
I need some aura.
You could
One
tell a
way
lot about your
ticket.
aura. You could tell a lot about your aura based off your on-chain history. You circled all your positions into Hype, Sol, and ETH. Got rid of the altcoins. You know, took a step back, relaxed, and escaped into the Alps of Japan. And I love it.
That's right.
He's
I love
still
that.
holding a launch coin bag though.
Well, that's okay.
I'm still holding Launchcoin. My boy Pasternak will forever be. I owe that guy one, you know? Last time I was in Japan,
Yeah.
he did me right with his Pasternak launch. This time I'm in Japan. I got some fresh profits to go shopping for some Burning Man clothes. You know, it's good, man. Shit's sweet over here. Shit's sweet over here.
Do we have an agenda today or we're just like cruising?
I put it together, but it's pretty loose. We're kind of firing from the hip today.
We're firing from the hip.
We're just firing from the hip. Yeah.
We're just
I got a
firing.
couple topics. How about
Well, we can just talk
Coinbase
about your
Wallet
glow.
shouting
Hey.
out pods?
How about
Pretty
that?
Podcasts
good.
are coming to Coinbase Wallet, the new Coinbase Wallet. Now, that was a nice little surprise. They did give us a little teaser saying that they were going to, give us a little bit of love. But yeah, I think that tweet did really well. It got some good action from the people. So we love the podcast on Coinbase Wallet.
I
Shout
feel
out
like
Coinbase
Lucas has been
Wallet team.
shipping. So I got his Paperview Farcaster Pro integration shipped too. Day one.
Oh yeah,
Pay per
day
view
one, 24.
Pay-per-view is a Solana app. It feels like it.
It feels like a Solana app. Man, it's been interesting for sure. I don't know what to say on that, but thank you, David. We'll explore the Solana
Paperview's good
stuff
tech.
soon. It's good tech.
It's
Strong tech.
D-Gen.
Yeah. Really, I definitely feel just ADD right now managing two products, but it's been fun, staying busy over here. Pods, pay-per-view, having their own moments, sometimes 2 moments in a day. It's good. Life's good.
Love that for you.
Just busy.
When are you going to glow like Coop?
Yeah, when
I
is
need
your
to get
glow
my-
coming?
I need to work on my skincare routine. I need to go to Japan. I need to go stroll the mountains and see that crystal clear water like Coop is. Because
Right.
I don't know what's going on, Coop, but I need whatever you're on right now.
Even
I'm
your
telling you,
eyes
man, I
are
went to
like
the pond.
brighter. I don't know what you're
And
doing
there's-
over there.
There was a deity
It's like-
there, and I sat with
it's
the
like
deity. I
you-
sat with the monkeys. I mean,
Dude, it's like
imagine
you're
this, right?
enlightened. I don't know
I'm
what it
walking
is,
through
but
the
you in the
forest. There's
eyes.
like no one here. There's like literally no people here. So I'm just walking through the forest for an hour, and then you just stumble upon hundreds of monkeys just chilling, living their life. They're totally in their own world, so they're walking past you. There's not like any beef or anything. It's all good stuff. And then you just come up to this pond and you just take a seat and you just go, "What are we doing here, guys? What are we doing here?" And then the glow comes to you.
It
That's
emanates.
all there is to it.
The
It
glow
emanates
comes-
from the
Are
pond.
there monkeys in Japan? I didn't know that.
A lot of monkeys in Japan.
You didn't know there were monkeys in Japan?
No, I didn't know that.
Have you been to Japan?
I haven't been to Japan, no. And
All right, well,
I
that's
didn't
why.
know there were monkeys. And I didn't think
They
there
got
were
monkeys. They got plenty of monkeys, bro. All
Interesting.
sorts
I will
of
go on
monkeys. I know that-
record to say that I did make a concerted effort to reach out to all of you individually to come out to Japan for my birthday. And none of you did. And none of you
We
are.
Now is not the time.
So
for me.
now,
I mean,
now
I was
the guy with
joking.
the
I
glow
was-
is calling the shots.
Okay, yeah. I was joking earlier. I was like, I could not be in Japan right now. As much as I would love to be there, just not the time for me to be on a
Fair enough.
13-hour time difference. And
Was
I
that
wish I
Hey,
could
you
be
know
there,
what?
Coop.
formal? Was
I
that
wish
a
I could be
formal
there.
invite?
You know what? Fair enough.
He invited us pretty formally. He was serious.
I felt like I got a solid invite.
Yeah.
I didn't get much of a
You too,
follow-up.
Chevy.
Yeah,
I
you
didn't get
gotta
much of a
you gotta
follow-up. It was kind of like a formal invite like 3 months ago, and then didn't really hear much about it in between
Right.
them. But, you know,
Right.
Yeah, okay. Let's try and put this on me after my formal invite.
I
Come to
actually
my
thought I was
birthday.
gonna be the odd man out who didn't go. So now I feel less bad.
I was
Yeah,
pretty
Chevy,
close to
after
going.
you and I were eating that flight of sushi in Tahoe, I really
Dude,
thought we connected over that
I
experience
would
with
have
that buttered
I would have
miso
booked
soup,
it. I would have 100% booked it. I didn't get the invite feel from that sushi gathering.
You know what?
Really?
I think
Yeah.
none of
What
us
do you
were
think that me
supposed to
saying,
go.
please come to Japan, it'd be really fun?
You never said
Well,
that.
what kind of invite are you guys looking for? Me to like
You
roll
never
out some
said
flights
that.
for you? Give you an itinerary?
You never said
Yeah.
that.
Honestly,
I
some
think this
flights
was
would be
all so
nice.
you could go to Japan and glow.
Yeah,
You
guys,
know?
sorry. I need to save the glow for myself over
Yeah,
here.
you should have
Save the
sold
glow
us
for
on the
yourself.
glow, because I would have got my ass over there if you said I was going to get plus 1,000 aura by just being in
I-
Japan for a week.
I've got one since we don't have an agenda today.
We do have an agenda, but go ahead,
Yeah, we
David.
do have an agenda. Go ahead.
We don't have an agenda. Maybe this is on the agenda. 90cc officially closing its doors. Thoughts?
Shout out G Money.
Shout out G Money.
Shout out G Money,
He was in the
the
trenches.
real one.
R.I.P.
Well, G Money is still here. G Money's got something. He's gonna cook something up. He's gonna do something. But
It's
90cc.
It's a tough market.
I
It's
will
a tough
say that
market out there.
It's a tough market out there.
Yeah.
I saw
some
my
great
90cc.
90cc moments, the squiggle shirts from Art Basel, if people remember those. 90cc
Yep.
hats. There's a nice, expo at NFT Paris. And I will say the 90cc events were always a good time. Always good people. I felt like it was good culture and whatnot. I don't know. I feel like for me it was a great step in the right direction. Obviously, that's a business that you got to fund for a very long time, but I was very bullish on it. I still remain bullish on chipped merchandise and be able to build loyalty through that. So, maybe the fellow crypto VCs didn't see it that way, but G's a real one. He's gonna find something next. It's gonna be fantastic as well. So, nothing but love and support. If anything, I think it's just a indicative sign of where our industry is currently at with wanting to fund new things versus funding old things that have a proven playbook. So, that's how the cookie crumbles.
Shout out G. Shout out 90cc.
Respect. We were a big fan. So it's tough to see a fallen soldier here. But, it's showbiz. Happens to the best of us.
And I guess if we want to turn the other page on that, and speaking of consumer apps that are making money, we got Farcaster generating over $1 million through their subscriptions.
And the subs.
The professionals. The Farcaster professional subscription tier, which is pretty funny. So, really to start, they just sold it as you get a check mark on your profile, and then the first 10,000 people get an NFT with it. And boom, 6 hours later, most revenue ever generated probably from Farcaster. I think it was in total $1.2 million. Plus whatever I don't know how many total subscriptions he sold past the 10,000, but millions of dollars. And I think notably all of it is going back into developer rewards and casting rewards. So Farcaster is distributing weekly rewards now, and now this pro subscription tier is actually funding it in a sustainable way. Because I think right now the number's $25K a week or something. It's getting pretty high up there. So it's definitely starting to eat into, their runway and their burn. And I think it was definitely a top priority thing for them to come up with a sustainability mechanism there. And it seems like they got it. I mean, 1.2 million, that's a year, at 25K a week, give or take. So
Do you think, unbelievable. They should run their business the way they got to run their business, and it's obviously a big success. Do you all think it's odd that it's effectively just it's a subscription model? There's nothing, I guess you get the NFT with it, but there's nothing inherently innovative on the crypto side with it, which is perfectly okay. But I feel like we're seeing a trend emerge. I've seen this with myself a little bit, where we're basically replicating Web2 business models that are successful and putting some of it on chain. And maybe that's completely okay, and there are advantages to it, but it's definitely different than, you know, I think what somebody would have predicted on-chain social business model to look like 3 years ago.
I think even just coming from like my experience with pay-per-view, just putting payments on chain is like a pretty big unlock. You know,
Yeah.
like you can get a lot done, and like allowing anyone in the world to just send 120 USDC and get the pro subscription, I think is a lot smoother UX. You know, you pretty much just clicked a button from your Farcaster wallet, boom, you had it. It wasn't like Apple Pay, you didn't have to go through that, which, you know, comparatively is like a little bit more friction, you know, let alone like adding a credit card or anything like that. So, yeah, I don't think it's the most innovative thing, but I think it was just like a quick, let's ship this, let's get it out the door, let's see if people want it. And then I would assume more people or more like perks will be coming down the line. And then maybe they do something fancy on the payment side, but just a USDC based payment, I think is pretty good, you know, to start.
Okay. Well, I was going to say that let's not forget that Farcaster raised their insane round off the piggyback of Degen hitting $1 billion. And that kind of mapping out the potential of what a Farcaster coin could basically look like down the line. I think it's really promising. I'm trying to open up the Zerion page that I was tracking all these subscriptions to share my screen, but the Zerion page is not loading. Maybe somebody else, I'll drop it in the chat, wants to open it. It's kind of a nice visualization to see all the subscriptions trickle in. It was fun. It was it was a very big dopamine rush, even though it was not my wallet that was getting the $120 every split second.
Yeah, I love Chevy getting dopamine rushes on other people's success. That's great.
Pretty great.
He's a team player.
Hell
That's
yeah.
good.
Man.
That's good.
Hell
That's
yeah.
good for the soul.
It's good for the soul. Somebody
I
pull
think
it up.
that
It's a good chart.
event was the first time that Farcaster had made a decent chunk of income in a while, and it feels like it was a really big like rallying moment for the more active users on Farcaster. I think, Lucas, to your question, I guess they are still going then. I thought that they just capped it at 10,000, but maybe they're just increasing it beyond that. It feels like a good PFP drop is like the analogy that I could make here is like just a successful PFP drop. You know, I don't think that there's any expectation of the NFTs like mooning or doing anything crazy like that, but I think one of the interesting follow on here was was this pro coin launch that happened around it. And, you know, in typical Farcaster fashion, I would say whenever there's like a moment that happens on Farcaster, someone just launches a coin around it. And no, I'm not going to say the coin's going crazy or anything, but it's definitely been interesting to watch there be like the first airdrop already for Farcaster Pro subscribers. And if you were one of the first 500 people to claim the Pro coin airdrop, you actually got 5x the allocation, and that allocation's worth about $600. And so if you subscribe for $120 and then you're the first 500 people to claim, you actually have made more money than it costs to subscribe. And I think that optimistically, that pro subscription will probably earn you more than $120 worth of airdrops over the course of the next year. So I think that's the crypto piece of it, is almost like the eligibility to new earning opportunities beyond the payment that you're putting up front.
That makes sense. I buy that.
Coop. Yeah. And I also think it's because this will be on chain, it's also kind of a new primitive, right? That people can start to plug into, or like, you know, plug into that social graph. Like for an example, you know, we kind of just mentioned it, but we shipped like this feature on Paperview that allows you to gate access for free if you're a Farcaster Pro user. So you pretty much just select a toggle. And if you're a Farcaster Pro user, you get to view it for free. If you're anyone else, you have to still pay for it. And we saw like a massive spike in increase, you know, in usage, and opens, and like people paying for posts after that. So it was like an upsell, right? So you come to the platform, you get to view a couple posts for free, and then you might buy that third or fourth post, which is like a really interesting dynamic as a whole. And I'm excited to see kind of more stuff bubble up around that. Yeah, it's really interesting.
I was also going to say, I have another topic on the Farcaster side of things, but David, did you have a question there you wanted to ask first?
I just want to know how you think our old Farcaster OG NFTs are affected by any of this, if at all.
I still think it's more OG than this, right?
It is the most OG.
I think maybe the downside is we haven't really seen it being used in any respect, probably in the past year, unfortunately. But I do think if Farcaster ends up being, blowing up and getting to 100 million active users, it might be worth something. We'll see.
One of those moonshot bets. I was gonna
Yep.
say to Chevy's point about degen tipping meta in the Farcaster last round, I was really happy with how the Noise launch went last week. I
Yep.
thought that was like really well executed. It was a really good mini app. I was able to start tipping in some of our song coins and whatnot, and that coin ran up to like 10, 12, I think even 14 mil at the peak, which I think was a really successful like first week for like an app coin on Farcaster. I think the question that I just have these days with Farcaster is like, are any of these tokens capable of breaking out in the same way that Degen broke out early on? Where I think most of these like Farcaster app coins, whether it be Procoin or Noise or the Warpcast W, like any of these meme coins that are launching, they all kind of cap out around like let's call it 5 to 10 mil, and then it just kind of peters out from there. And I think while it's a really positive sign that we're hitting that like 10, 15 mil, I'm really just kind of waiting for there to be a runner, so to speak, that goes up to like 20, maybe even 50 mil. That gives a lot of people hope that being on Farcaster is like kind of worth your time because you're getting something that feels like it has a lot of outsized potential in the future.
No, Noise has been holding pretty well at 11, 12. Hasn't really dipped below that. And I feel like if they keep playing their cards right, it could be that kind of runner that we haven't had in a while.
Yeah, it's at 8 right now. I guess it's at actually 11 FDV, which is a good call out.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
like those guys. I like those guys. I think for me though, the biggest thing is that like mini apps don't feel big to me yet. You know what I mean? Like I think they feel fun and they're cool, and it's definitely like as Farcaster, it's a good push forward. Obviously Coinbase Wallet's getting really behind the whole mini app narrative as well, but I don't think there's a belief that a mini app is like super valuable. I think it almost feels like a little toy right now, like a fun little toy or something like that. And I think that in order to see one of these coins go to like 20, 25 mil plus, people need to start thinking about it as something beyond just like a container within another container, which I think is limiting its kind of attention and emotional value. I don't know what that answer looks like, but I think that's kind of the current psychological barrier that I have with seeing these things kind of run up. And I think that's kind of where a lot of people are getting stuck to.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the way that it has been sold, at least from like Dan Romero and the team, it's like get your first 1,000 transacting users, and I think it's a good proving ground for an application. But it's definitely you hit your ceiling pretty quickly, and we've seen that on our end. It's like you'll get 1,000, maybe 10,000, signups max. But yeah, there's definitely very much a ceiling, and I'm excited to see if they can, start scaling that up to like get your first 10,000 users, and like or 100,000 or even 1 million. But I think, Farcast is already hitting its ceiling right now, and it has a lot of work to do to break through that before it trickles down over to like mini apps and whatnot.
I think that like a interesting parallel here is I was looking yesterday at this Zora coin dashboard and just kind of seeing some of the stats around like content coins and what's been happening lately. And one of the ones that jumped out to me was looking at how many people trade through DEXs through actual contracts on the Zora site. If you look at this here, it's like you have 12,000 traders that are on DEXs versus, 250 traders that are on like the actual Zora site itself. And like when you look at all these numbers in terms of like daily transacting users and whatnot, the vast majority of them are coming through existing DEXs. So whether that be like a wallet or whether that be through Uniswap or something like that. And so I think it's just pretty indicative that like even for a mini app to take off, it's almost like the mini app might seed the network and seed the economics, but it does need to kind of pop out to, the DEX screeners of the world to really capture that next wave of users and buyers.
I was going to say that's a really good insight because in the vein of like thinking about on-chain virality, looking at how transactions happen and where the source of a transaction is, last cycle or a year ago, you'd look at a lot of these wallet aggregators or like mint funds to propel and recommend stuff to people based off trending contracts. And I wouldn't get that insight, I guess, unless it's labeled that way. Go back to the DEX traders. Oh, I guess it says direct and DEX. So direct means the ones that are actively trading on Zora. Okay. So I wonder where all that additional traffic is coming from. Like, is it the wallet aggregators that are recommending things? Is it people looking at DEX screener and seeing like the hot trending coins that they should be tapping into? Like, I wonder where the source of attention is to drive that virality. Do you guys have any insights on that?
It low-key might be, I don't know how much of it, but it's probably like a good chunk is Farcaster. Because these support the swaps of these tokens natively in the feed.
I was going to say that I think it's actually just the biggest coins on Zora. So whether it was the basis for everyone token or whether it was the network state token, I think a lot of those buyers are people that don't ever go to the Zora app. They basically are just looking for like coins that are on DEX Screener and just trading like the top tokens that are on DEX Screener on a given day. I just think it's pretty indicative that like crypto people don't really want to use apps still. They want to just like trade tokens, and where they prefer to trade tokens is where they prefer to gamble on everything else. And so there kind of is like a, as a builder of an app, you need to really get out to those DEX traders and just make sure that that path is like really seamless for them to come up on and discover like the coins that you're launching. Which, speaking of that, Doppler V4 got announced yesterday. I
Yep.
thought that was a pretty big deal. It's something that we're definitely looking at very, very closely for Coop Records and our kind of next chapter. A lot to unpack there. I don't know if someone wants to pull up the tweet and kind of try and read through it and make sense of it, but dynamic bonding curves, definitely a little bit of a big brain topic here, but something that I think is pretty compelling for all of us thinking about, doing coins in some way, shape, or form. And I would say that Doppler has really gained a lot of mind share as being like the premier launchpad protocol for all of these, consumer apps that are trying new ways of launching coins.
You want to show the
Thoughts?
tweet?
So they were happy to announce the world's first dynamic bonding curves, largest upgrade for bonding curves since inception. I thought that this tweet was pretty interesting here. Static bonding curves are leak money to snipers and MEV bots. And then there's this recap here that with all of the launch coin trenches, every coin deploys in 2 to 3 seconds. Top coins bond way too quickly. Good snipers are up 6 figs on pretty much all these launches. And so I just find it interesting that even on like Solana, we're still seeing there being a lot of like sniping problems. And if you look at basically any popular launch pad, I would say snipers is definitely like the number one issue. And so the fact that Doppler is choosing to go at that a little bit more head on, I find to be pretty interesting.
What what how are they addressing it?
So my understanding, and I'm not a DeFi guy, so I could be totally botching this, is that dynamic bonding curves allow you to customize the slope of the curve just a lot more than you could with the static bonding curve. And so essentially the beginning of the curve becomes a lot harder to snipe essentially. There's way more fees associated with trying to buy up like 5 or 10% of the supply in the first transaction. And so whereas before with the static bonding curve, if I went and I sniped a new coin, I could buy 5% of the coin for $10 because I'm just at the very bottom of the bonding curve. Now there's actually ways to program the curve where it starts out a little bit steeper and then kind of flattens out over time so that if you're trying to snipe it, you're actually paying like a much bigger fee at the beginning because you can't just buy a shit ton of the supply out of the gate. That's my understanding is that you're basically just adding in different hooks and parameters where, if someone wants to come and try and buy a super big amount of it out of the gate, they have to pay a pretty large fee. And to my understanding, you can also change the parameters around like, okay, for the first 10% of the supply that's purchased, the swap fee is actually 10% instead of 1%.
Right.
And there's like different ways that you as the creator can sort of capture value in those early purchases and along the way. And so what, I'm excited to explore with our song coins is basically this idea of like starting a coin at $1 market cap, making it so that it's a lot more difficult to snipe it, making it so that the creator rewards can actually be sold automatically. So instead of a creator having to like choose to dump X% of their supply on like an open buy order, you can just program that directly into the contract where there's conditions where if the market cap hits $10,000, then sell, $1,000 of my token, or if it hits $100,000, sell this amount of my token. If someone goes and buys 10 ETH over purchase, make sure that you're actually going to get in that transaction to be able to offset the giant spike that happens. So I think the idea here is just that there's a lot more power and customization. And what I have come to notice is that with all these launch pads, you see this word flywheel getting thrown around quite a lot. There was something that Ben Pasternak tweeted that I thought was really funny, where he just literally tweeted a picture of a flywheel, and everyone was like really excited about it, like literally just a fucking flywheel. And then even like Maz in the chat was like, launch coin has a flywheel coming. It's confirmed. Like, bro, what does that even mean? You know what I mean? Like you just say flywheel, people get excited. And so you look at like, I'm going on a bit of a tangent here, but you look at like virtuals is starting to pump again. Their flywheel is arguably really expensive, but there is like this idea of like locking up tokens and fees being going back to virtuals protocol and whatnot. And so I think that for these launch pad protocols, a lot of traders are now saying like it's not enough to just launch meme coins that could go to like $1 billion, like I actually need to see some underlying value capture within the protocol itself for me to want to continue to pay swap fees to the launch pads that I'm using. End rant.
Is that okay? You said amazing things there, but on the last sentence, is that the issue that users want to make sure that there's some type of value accrual to the launch pads they're using, or is it specifically people who own tokens from launch pads want to see that value accrual? Like, I think people are going to still keep using Pump Fund. They don't care like whether Pump Fund has a token or not. They're still going to keep using Pump Fund. But for something like virtuals or Launchcoin to work, and for that token to keep going up, I think you're saying those people want to see value accrual to hold those tokens.
I just think that people are seeing the amount of fees that any of these successful launchpads are generating on a daily basis, and they feel like they're getting extracted or milked, and they want to see those fees going back into either the coins that are being launched or into like the protocol or just some way of
Got it.
that fee capture going back into like the origin tokens so that they feel like they have more exposure to like the platforms that they're trading on an active basis.
Right. So even if the launchpad itself doesn't have a token, they want to see some of the fees from the token they bought being put back into buying and burning that token on a simple level.
A flywheel, if you will.
A flywheel. Yeah, a flywheel. A literal flywheel.
A literal flywheel.
Yeah.
I think it's another interesting take or innovation on the bonding curve. I don't know. I feel like we've been around the space for a long time, and bonding curves always kind of have their issues. So we'll see if this one solves it or like is closer. But yeah, I kind of missed this announcement, so interested to learn more about it. But good synopsis, Coop, and excited to see kind of how it plays out.
I would flag though that the difference with this bonding curve is that it's looking to almost be additive to the Uniswap standardized
Right.
bonding
Yeah.
curve that has succeeded for a long time. I think that
Right.
when
Right.
we say the word bonding curve, Lucas, I think you and I go back to like, DeFi early apps trying to do like custom bonding curves and things that just like got sniped at the bottom and then sold at the top type thing. And so at least with Doppler, it feels like this is kind of an opportunity
Yeah.
to
But
try that
even
again,
like what,
maybe.
yeah, kind of what I'm saying though is like even pump on like that initial kind of like phase is a bonding curve, and it just had issues, right? So I'm just wondering if this is going to have a new issue that kind of emerges, or if it's kind of closer to like a more efficient mechanism. I think in the end game, bonding curves are really powerful, but we just haven't perfected them. So it's cool to see the innovation as a whole.
Well, let me ask you this question. Who here on this call will be looking into Doppler and planning on doing something with it over the next few months? Anyone?
Me.
There we go. There we go. There we go.
I'm the odd man out.
It's not
Damn.
song coins though, Coop.
I know
For
you got
me.
something
For
cooking,
me.
David.
For me. Song coins make a lot of sense for you though.
hmm I'm excited. I feel like it's a new chapter for us. It kind of lets us get in the game in a pretty interesting way. And so we're cooking over here. We're cooking for sure. I would say give us about a month and we'll have something fun to share.
Oh, it's looking like 1 month? New song coins?
Yeah. I mean, this is the beauty of Doppler is that I don't want to glaze them too hard here, but the hardest part with our Songcoin protocol in the past is that you had to build this whole ERC20 protocol from the ground up, which included like the deployment of the bonding curve. It included migrating liquidity to Uniswap, all of this crazy shit. And what Doppler is doing as a business is just giving you an SDK and basically just saying, hey, just plug this in and we'll handle all the customization on the protocol. We'll handle all of like the deployment. We'll handle all of the crazy shit under the hood with like doing swap fees and order routing and all this other stuff. And basically you can just benefit from a really out of the box solution to being able to kind of build your own launchpad. So at least on my end, the idea of working with Doppler saves us a lot of time, energy, and stress, where the focus for us now just becomes front end integration. It becomes curation in terms of what tokens are being launched. But as far as the actual mechanics on how to deploy the tokens and how to kind of get them out into the wild, I think that there's a massive time and energy savings that's coming on the back of, Doppler really being a team that's fully devoted to this kind of stuff.
Rami is relieved right now. He's just like, don't have to do this again.
Rami's relieved.
Yep.
He's pretty stoked about it.
Couple weeks ago, got on the phone with the Ethereum Foundation. They were super stoked with this whole creator economy sector that's emerging on Ethereum and layer 2s like Base. And they wanted to learn more about it. So I was asked to help curate a lineup for this creator economy Twitter Spaces. with the Ethereum Foundation account. And lo and behold, we had the squat minus Coop, unfortunately, because of the Japan stuff. But we had a nice hour and change long conversation yesterday. Was that yesterday?
It was yesterday. Yeah.
Wow. With the Ethereum Foundation, also Humpty from Crypto Sapiens was on there, and we just had a nice lengthy conversation around the creator economy, what we're building, and I think overall was like a solid experience. But David, Chevy, how'd you feel about it?
I mean, first off, shout out Lucas for making it happen, and super pumped to see that the Ethereum Foundation is actually starting to do spaces where they're getting app builders together, people that are building on the network together, that it was an open conversation. They're supporting creators. They're looking to expand the economy. Like, we haven't seen a lot of activity from the Ethereum Foundation in the last few years. So just seeing them get in the game, hosting a space was huge. I mean, that's like, for me, that was just like huge.
It feels like Base is the Ethereum Foundation in many ways. Base is like the biggest proponent of Ethereum. Like, they are the equivalent of the Solana Foundation for Solana, but for Ethereum. So I loved seeing more proactiveness from the foundation itself. I wonder what that looks like down the line. I think, Lucas, I think you should share the conversation that you shared with us in the group chat on the different energy that you received on calls as a builder. I think it's relevant. Like, I think it's relevant given that, like, the way people see Ethereum and view Base's role and Solana's role and the foundation's role, and like how builders are choosing where to deploy and spend their time and their funding, right? I think it's important. I think it's all tied together. So I have a reason why I'm bringing that up, but I'd love for you to add that.
Yeah. So I guess for context, somehow in the past week was able to talk to the Ethereum Foundation, the Base team, and also recently the Solana Foundation. And I just think it was very interesting to kind of see the different approaches from each team here. I think the Ethereum Foundation, as we kind of called out, is like still trying to get its bearings on how to help application builders. But I think the big kind of change in it is the fact that they're actually having this conversation with application builders and the creators that are building on Ethereum. And I think that is a massive kind of just shift and positive change from the Ethereum Foundation that I was super stoked to see. And they're actively looking on how to support these projects that are building on Ethereum more closely. And then I think the same thing, from Base, I think they're a little bit more dialed in on the application layer on the creator side than the Ethereum Foundation. I think I was most surprised here, and we've had many conversations with the Base team. We're close with them. They're amazing. And, they support us in every single way that they can. But it was my first conversation with the Solana Foundation, and I think I was just genuinely impressed with just how dialed in their processes are for how to support these applications and these builders that are building on Solana. And it's not like a question of like, oh, what should we do? It's like, hey, we can do this, this, and this. Give us the timeline. We like what you're building, and like, let's help you support what you're building. And I think just that ability to just see the different approaches from all three organizations was a really kind of unique experience. And yeah, it was my first time talking to both the EF and the Solana Foundation. So just getting on the phone with them, I think was really a cool experience overall. And yeah, I mean, I think everyone's starting to shift into this, like, applications are kind of this next major phase, which feels very apparent to me. But I think all said and done, everyone, is doing a great job, but I was just genuinely impressed with how dialed in Solana was in terms of like what they can do and what they're willing to do for the application builders when they didn't know us through a hole in the wall. Like, we just sent a random DM, they hopped on a phone, and like they tried out the Paperview app. They were like, this is really cool. How do we want, how can we support you? And I think that was just a really cool experience overall. But I'm happy to answer kind of like whatever questions you guys got on that front.
Yeah, I think the reason why I wanted you to bring that up is because I feel like that should be the role of the Ethereum Foundation. And in many ways, people are expecting Base to be the core driver of that. And Base has its own roadmap, its own priorities alongside the products that they're building. And I don't think it's their responsibility to do everything. They already support builders in many ways and do an incredible job doing it. And shout out to their entire team. They're an A-list team. And to see the Ethereum Foundation step up And a Twitter space is a very small thing in the grand scheme of things, but it's a very positive thing and a very energizing thing to see.
It's signal.
It's a good signal in a world that otherwise, an account that was otherwise very quiet, you know. I think Hayden Adams tweeted this not too long ago. He's like, I think this is the first time I've seen the Ethereum Foundation like mention Uniswap on Twitter in a world where they inherently have stayed neutral and very quiet online. And it just doesn't work anymore. People want support. People need help, especially when really good projects and promising founders are not getting funding as well. You know, like you're seeing companies sunset. So it puts more pressure on the ecosystems to support up and coming builders. So yeah, I was really happy to see that space come together.
I don't know where I saw this, but I also saw that the EF not only deposited into Aave, but is now like borrowing Go.
I sent that to you.
You sent that to me, right? Yeah. And that is such a different shift, right? Is like they're now actually using the applications in the same sense of like the Solana Foundation literally used Paperview and they were like, this is a great app, you know, like how can we support this? And I think that is kind of like the energy that you need from the EF now if they're going to succeed in this next phase of like crypto adoption, which is applications are kind of the thing. And that's the focus. And that's what's going to bring people on chain at the end of the day.
I have a tangent.
Let's hear it.
It's not that related though, but I have a tangent. I just checked that one of the NFTs that I bought 3 months ago is up 10x.
Are we back?
Citizens of Vibetown,
Wow.
the Good Vibes Club, which I bought for 0.09 ETH 3 months ago.
Is this what you're doing while I'm having this nice rant about, you know, the EF and applications being built and getting support from these foundations, and you're checking the fucking floor price of your NFTs? Is that what you're doing?
You know,
this is not on the agenda. This is not on the agenda.
This is degenerate.
This is how ETH bull run number 2 happened. You know, I actually saw these and almost bought one. Has anybody else noticed a little bump in NFT talk on the timeline? I have like a little bump going on.
A little bit.
There's what's it called? It's not Pokemon. There's some art project.
That collection.
Yeah, that collection. It looks pretty cool. A lot of people are talking about it. What's it actually called?
I don't know the name of it. I just saw everyone buying it.
Yeah, there's a little NFT thing going on.
The Boo-Boos? No.
I don't know. There's an NFT thing going on. It does remind me a little bit of spring of 2024 when swatches came out and everybody thought there was going to be like an NFT season and some NFTs started to move, but maybe this time it's more the real thing.
Well, it also looks like OpenSea is getting ready for that token launch. That TGE seems like they're warming up for it.
Oh, really?
Right, but they're not going to reward any 21 or 22 people.
I think that's fake news.
I think they will.
Right?
Don't
think
they
will. That'd be a massive fumble, you know. That would be
what they're saying. That's what they're saying.
Hey, David, why don't you tell us about this Loudio thing that you put me on to? I've been seeing it on my timeline a lot, but I'm actually not that hip to it. The loudest always win forever, powered by Kato. Come learn about the initial loud offering. What's going on with this, David?
I actually, you know, you're putting me on the spot. I don't know that much about it, but I'll give you what I do know. First of all, great branding. It sounds similar to another meme coin that was launched about a year ago called Louder. So, you know, great branding there with Loudio. From my understanding, it's similar to Kato in the sense that for being the loudest poster of a particular project to start, in this case, Loudio, depending on how good engagement you're getting for posting about Loudio, you will earn Loudio. And shocker, if you incentivize people to post, you will earn tons of mindshare. So my understanding here is that Loudio is tied to posting about a token, and that there's going to be some type of framework where it goes beyond just Loudio and applies to other tokens. And this guy, Ultra, and my boy Slade from the HoloLens team is on this project, and it's actually going to be launched on the Hollow World Launchpad, which is the launchpad that launched Ava if you remember that from 6 months ago. They have a launch pad now, and it's being dropped on that launch pad.
So it's on Solana?
Correct.
It is on Solana. Yeah.
Here's my
Nice.
question is like, we're now seeing, this is like the third or fourth one of these that I've seen. How do you guys play this? Because when I start seeing this, I get like bearish in part, but also just like buy the best one, which is probably Kato, you know? Like there's a narrative here that's forming. I'm just curious how you guys are playing this, if at all.
I haven't decided if I'm going to buy this yet, not because I don't think it's going to go up. Just there's only so many things I can keep track of, and this isn't a sector I know enough about. Like the
So yeah, I'm
info.
gonna play it.
I'm
I'm fucking in for at least 10 sold the second I get a contract address. That's how I'm gonna play it.
He's got aura.
Yeah, but Coop's
I got
always
launch
on
coin
that.
gains.
Yeah.
I have
Okay,
a lot
when are you
less
gonna
floating around, but
when are you gonna sell it, Coop?
I don't like to think about that, man. It's just about, having conviction, really locking in. I will give a shout out, Fault-Proof Ben, on this episode of the podcast,
Yep.
who really pushed me over the edge on upping my hype bag over the course of the last 2 weeks. Rotated a lot of my soul into hype. He put me onto a couple of the Hyper EVM shitcoins that did pretty well.
Mhm.
Buddy, Per, Rub, and
Can I give you
I'm up.
the new Fault-Proof Ben shitcoin? Alt L1 sitting
I'm
at
playing-
He's been talking about some stuff
I'm
out
playing.
there.
I'm
What
playing.
is it,
I'm playing.
that Tether one?
I'm playing hype. I'm playing
Mhm.
hype and hyper EVM more than I'm playing Loudio and Kato. Let's put it that way.
Mm. It's I don't know. It's good out there, boys. There's a lot of stuff to be excited about in the market right now. I feel like
I
I
agree.
think things are cooking. I actually
And
was
I-
thinking on a more macro level that everything's trending in the right direction for us. I think that there's a lot of stuff that we've believed would be true for a long time, whether it be creator coins or markets around media or markets around content, whatever it might be. The entire market is trending in that direction. And it hasn't like figured itself out yet, but when I just like take a step back and I think about where the crypto industry is today versus like 3 years ago, I think if you would have said like creator coins would be a thing 2 or 3 years ago in the bear market, people would like really laugh at you. But now with all of these like app coins and the fact they're like slowly getting integrated with APIs into these apps and all of these like swap fees and whatnot, like I think that a lot of what we believed would come true is actually starting to like happen in a very slow macro way that feels like really promising to what all of us are doing here.
I agree with that. I mean, 3 years ago, FTX was falling, and we thought we were entering a 10-year crypto winter. So huge gains.
Isn't he about to get a
Also,
movie?
dare I say it? Yes, he is. It does look like he's getting a movie with the girl who was
Movie.
in a movie with the girl who was in Ozarks.
Rose.
Yeah.
She's a great actor.
What's Jason Bateman's name in that show again?
Oof.
His name in the
Oh,
show.
man.
Fun.
I haven't
It's off
watched
the tip of my tongue.
Ozark
I
in
haven't
like
seen Ozark
5
yet.
years. Yeah.
I just hear her in my head being like, what was his name? God damn it.
Marty?
God damn it, Marty.
Yeah, that might be it.
Pretty
Fuck
good.
you, Marty.
Last one
dare
to
I
bring up
say it?
here.
Wait, I'm probably going to jinx it, but I got to bring it up. The ETH BTC chart.
Oh,
Showing
shut
a
the hell
reversal.
up.
Here we
Showing
go.
a reversal. It's scary when that starts to happen, you know?
Here,
And
I'm going to put it on the record. I swapped some BTC for ETH maybe 2 weeks ago.
Lucas.
I'm just
All
going
right.
to say
Some
it.
BTC for ETH.
That's
Correct.
wild. You are wild. That's wild.
Here's the thing is that
Movie.
here's the thing. I sold ETH for BTC back in 2022. All right. And I was playing that trend. It was going to go down. I'm on the other side of the trade now. It's going up. And that, to me, is honestly the most bullish thing right now. Like if ETH gets to 0.05, all right, we're at like 6K ETH, $5,500 ETH. And ETH has spent years above that 0.05 level. So we'll see how long it takes to get there. But I think that is the ratio to be watching, and seeing how ETH price action moves against that is going to be really interesting. It's been beaten down for 3 years now, 3+ years. So I don't know. I'm on the other side of the trade now. Let's go.
He sees 10K.
Send it to the moon.
12K,
send it.
15K, 20K ETH.
We get to 4K ETH, I'm a happy camper.
I'm at the point where I just have a weekly BTC buy that is automated, and I'm done. I'm still gonna do all my other degenning, but I'm done not just having a weekly BTC buy that I should have been doing for the past 8 years.
Nice. Took you long enough.
Took me long enough, yeah. Do you have a weekly BTC buy?
I
Auto
have
buy?
not an auto buy now, but I mean Chevy saw my on-chain activity lately. He knows I was going pretty ham on picking up some more BTC the other week. There was a rotation that occurred.
Different than an auto buy.
I think the DCA is the right move, David.
Yeah.
And if you've been doing that since 2017, we wouldn't be on this podcast, let me tell you.
Yep.
We'd be getting some glow on, we'd getting some aura in Japan.
We'd have Japanese glow.
Look at the sun, boys. Look at the sun.
Is the sun actually, like, I know you're in front of a window. Is the sun actually shining? Because there is like an actual little like aura around you.
What can I say, guys? I spoke to the lake deity.
It's the Pasternak bag. That's
it's
it.
The Pasternak mode.
Launch coin games.
I'm on Pasternak mode right now. The last topic I was going to bring up. Actually, go ahead, Lucas. You're going to talk about the Thread Guy stream?
No, I was actually going to the Feder stream, TBPN. I don't know if you guys have been on the TBPN grind.
Yeah.
But Pasternak, they actually did the crypto day yesterday, and it was a really good episode. They do a 3-hour long daily stream. They bring on guests. It's kind of like a 5-minute, 10, 15-minute segment with a bunch of guests. I recommend listening to it. The crypto day yesterday was really solid. We had like Brian Armstrong, Chris Dixon, Pasternak, Luca Netz, Dan Romero was on there. And yeah, it was a really great episode. First time I've ever seen Pasternak talk, Mr. Ben, and came out a little bit more bullish. Came out more bullish.
Love that for you.
It's bullish.
I was gonna say shout out to Zora getting to top 100 on the social apps in the App Store. What we like to see.
I wonder if we're going to get like peak crypto bull market and it's going to hit like number 1. Is that like our new metric? Instead of the Coinbase app hitting number 1 in the App Store or like top 5, are we like just watching the Zora coin?
Yeah.
I've got a question.
I think all the apps.
Yeah.
Do we think Robinhood is going to take away market share from Coinbase? I think yes. I think Coinbase should be worried. More people use Robinhood. What's that?
I'd be buying some Hood right now.
Yeah.
I think they're going to get pretty aggressive with the RWA stuff. I would honestly expect to see like them bringing on tokenized equities like this year would be my guess. And I think that's going to be bullish, and they're probably going to be the first mover. I don't know if they'll beat Coinbase, but Robinhood just feels like a more aggressive version of Coinbase, and they're willing to kind of bet the farm on
they had
a couple other things. This
today, which I don't know if it's a on-chain reference, but it says to catch or to mint. That is the question. 6:30:25.
Okay, so they're launching something on chain.
Doing something, I would think.
At June 30th.
Oh right? Yeah, I just clicked on it. To catch a token, tune into the live stream where a global plan is unfolding in the shadows of tradition. Yeah, they're going for it. Unlock the future of crypto.
I just wonder, I wonder if they're going Launchpad or I think the smarter move here is like tokenized equities and start bringing those on chain, trading 24/7. I don't know. But maybe it's interesting. Well, if you are still listening, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Not a Cartel with Cooper's Aura at plus 1,000. Yeah, we'll see if he maintains it next week.
Arigato gozaimasu.
Arigato. Karisama. And we will, if you want to mint this episode, support us directly. You can find us at pods.media/notacartel, as well as all other major streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple, YouTube, the whole shebang. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.